I'm at the Penn Eugene up here, so that's all you see.
There you go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated, where this is going to be a fun one today. I'm joined by our good friend and frequent guest, Mark Roberts of the Dead Cards,
Hey guys.
and actor Joseph Castillo-Midyett. So welcome, Joseph. And I guess welcome, Mark.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Now, Joseph, thank you so much for doing this. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Off camera, we were talking. You're our first Fear of the Walking Dead actor. We've had some Walking Dead, but now we're stepping up our game a little bit.
Oh shit!
Getting the Fear of the Walking Dead, but no pressure.
Oh man, I'll set the bar real low so everyone, I'm set
That's
up.
what I do.
Yeah, you're already in good shape. That's why we bring Mark on.
Right.
So Joseph, I always like to start here. Tell me a little bit about what got you into acting. What made you want to become an entertainer?
Well, I was always the kind of loud kid in class,
Yeah.
And we moved around a lot. So I didn't, I went to like a bunch of different schools. I think it was like 22 by the time I graduated high school. And so I was always cracking jokes, or it was nice to be in a classroom because, we were always moving around. And so I'd get sent out or to the principal's office, blah, 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 blah. And this one lady, because I'm Latino, and they put me in an English second language class.
Right.
And, I speak fluent English and so I'm sitting there in like 11th grade and we're learning about Santa Claus. And I'm like, and it was like day one. She walks up to me and she's like, you speak English? And I go, yeah.
Yeah.
And anyways, one thing led to another. And she's like, here, you want to learn some Shakespeare? I was like, sure. And the rest is kind of history. She started an independent study class for me, and was at a really rundown school, like in California, like metal detectors type of school.
Yeah.
Like fights every day, drugs, all that kind of stuff. Like police were the yard keeper. It was a rough school. And
that's like a Saturday, or what is it? The after school special type of school that we would see.
Oh, it's more like Dangerous Minds. Remember that movie? Anyway, so the only class that I could be in was the janitor's closet. And so I turned in the English second language homework, and then I would, ahead of class because I knew how to speak English. And then I'd go into the janitor's closet and I'd start learning this monologue. And I would show her every week. And then one thing led to another. And she's like, listen, do you really like this? You're really good at this. There's this, this was in Hayward, California. And she was like, there's this summer bridge program at this nearby college. And, no one in my family had gone to college. I was like, I'm going to get a job at a factory, clearly. And, and one thing led to another, and it changed my life. And,
Awesome.
I was like, oh, this is nuts. This is what people do. And the rest is history. Then I went to school for it in undergrad. And then I met this really awesome teacher who studied, he hated American realism. So I learned about everything but American realism. And then he was like, listen, I was like, I don't feel ready. I don't feel like I can go. And he's like, yes, English is my second language. His name was Edgardo de la Cruz. And he was like, you need to go to a conservatory program that can teach you how to speak. Because from going to so many schools, my reading skills are really, really low. And
right.
I couldn't read out loud. I had to I was in college the first year, just a bunch of remedial courses. And so I was really embarrassed I couldn't cold read. I couldn't do it. Anyway, so I went to this classical training program and I got my master's degree, and then I got out of school and I didn't know anything about how to be an actor. I was trained, but I know how to do it career wise.
Right.
And 08 crash hit. And now that, we're in this pandemic, I'm like, I've only been acting a little over 10 years and I've already lived through 2 financial crises. And I'm just like, I'm ready I'm ready to coast. Just give me 8 years with no bumps or turns, and I'm ready to rock and roll, man. That's
a really good story. I mean, you overcame a lot to get where you're at.
Dude, it was, as Gary Vee would say, what's the alternative?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there was no alternative. It was that, or not get out of college, that, or work at a pizzeria. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. What was your first acting role?
I actually went to that summer bridge program, and I auditioned for A Midsummer Night's Dream, and
nice.
just like a Shakespeare play. And I was like, dude, I was a cock of the walk. I wasn't like braggadocious or anything like that. But so I walk in there, and I was like, I'm going to audition for this big part, and I'm going to do well. And I didn't get it, obviously, because there were like college students also auditioning, and I was devastated. I'd never, like, it was my first time seeing like a cast list go up, and like my name was not there on the sheet, and I was like, okay. And you keep going down, and you're like, okay, now these are like really, really tiny parts, and my name wasn't there, and I was like, damn. And I didn't have like a mom or whatever, dad, to drive me there, so I had to take a train and 2 buses to get to that school to check this list. And so it took me like 2.5 hours to get there, and I was like, damn, all right, I've got some bus fare. I guess I better. I was so embarrassed, I was like, I'm just gonna
that's
go.
A long trip home.
Yeah, bro. And this guy, Jeff Beck, came out, and he would end up playing the lead guy. And he was like, yo, hey, man, hey. And he stopped me, and I was like, tears welling. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to see me crying. And I was like, why am I crying? I don't understand what's happening. And he was like, listen, you did really great, man. Why don't you just come? I'm playing the lead. I'll get you a part as a fairy. And I was like, oh, bro, are you serious? But I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah. I'll make it work. I didn't know how I was going to get there every day, but I was like, yeah, sure. Changed my life, man. Changed my life, man. It was one of the best summers of my life. We did like 3 shows. I learned etiquette. I was just some rough and tumble kid from the hood.
Yeah.
So I was like with all these like kids who had gone to conservatory and had been acting their whole lives, and like were like their parents had picked them up, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Anyways.
That's awesome. Are you still stories, man? I was like, are you still in contact with him?
Him and some of the cast members. I made friends for life. I ended up going to that school for college.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was nuts, man.
That's a movie of the week right there.
Yeah.
Well, if you're interested, I have a series that I've written and started pitching called This Boy's Vida, Made in America. You can check that out at thisboysvida.com.
Yeah, I absolutely will. Is that the story? It's about that story?
Without giving it too much away, but there's a trailer we got up there, and we shot a little bit and went to some pitch festivals and won a couple of awards. Had a couple meetings with Kelsey Grammer's company and some other notable ones, but at the time people thought it was a little too niche, and then the Latino and lack of representation really started getting a voice. And so we're looking. I kept writing.
Yeah.
And so I've got the season broke and a couple of episodes, and we're going to probably shoot a longer format. We're scheduled to shoot a 30-minute, and we had about 15 grand in funders, and then the pandemic hit. And
of course, yeah.
I wasn't going to keep this money from people at the height of the pandemic, so we ended up giving it all back. But we got plans anyways.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to make sure I'm following what I was thinking. Have you, or are you thinking about taking that to like the festival route?
We originally were going to crowdfund, and so we just shot. We were going to shoot a trailer, to go up on our crowdfund page or whatever. But everyone just brought their A game, and we ended up shooting for like 12 hours. And we're like, dude, I think we got a proof of concept. And we cut a trailer from the proof of concept, and the trailer won some awards, and the proof of concept got us into meetings, and then they asked for scripts, and we went out to a lot of people, and everyone was really interested. And then the pandemic hit.
I know. So now you have to start you're starting back over a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but that gave me time to like really go through the formatting and make sure, the story is really compelling, and it's a lot of people who see themselves on screen for the first time and start hearing the stories. We have people sometimes cry at just the trailer, and they're like, I've never seen me, and people get this really cathartic thing. So it's not like we're telling super different stories that you probably haven't already heard, but it's from the community, by the community in a way. And that really affects people.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to check that out. That sounds really cool. Awesome. Yeah, good for you to kind of take that. I mean, it's one thing to go through and have an experience. It's another thing to get that down and get it out there. That's not easy. So yeah, that's kudos for that.
People kept like, I have a master's in theater, but I've done probably close to 100 plays, and in all over the country regionally. Some of the best, Oregon Shakes, the Guthrie Theater. And some, I would be like, after the show, we'd be talking, I would start telling these stories, and they'd be like, dude, you should write a one-man show. And I have no desire to be a one-man show. But then I was like, dude, I love movies. So I think this could be a good series.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah. I have no doubt that'll you'll do well with that. And once we get fully back into the norm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Did you have to do a pitch Bible and
we got a full pitch deck, but honestly, I would ask a couple of leading questions based around the show, and that would kind of hook people. And then I'd be like, dude, talk is cheap. Here's the trailer. And people I was at a big conference table pitch, and everyone's hand was like, here's my card. I was like, oh man, this is it. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
How exciting is that?
Yeah, it was nuts, man. Because you would just see people go out of the room and like deflated. And I was like, well, whatever, man. I just use it as practice then. And then it just kind of blew up, and I was like, oh, right on.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's you gotta as that goes along, you gotta come back. You gotta give us updates on that.
Oh, no, I have no doubts it's gonna get picked up.
Yeah, that sounds like that's big.
Oh,
that's really
big.
Man.
It's
so do you have a hand in, I know your hand in the writing, but are you have a hand in the filming of it and the editing of it as well?
So when I was on tour, I was on tour with theater, and we were doing these Shakespeare plays, and all the actors wanted to read plays on the tour bus or whatever. And I was like, guys, I that sounds so fucking boring. Oh, so I'm sorry. Can I swear on here?
Yeah, you can say it. You're all right.
I was like, that sounds so freaking boring, man. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so I was like, I got a couple hours every day on this tour bus before we go to each venue. So I just got a filmmaking degree online. I bought a camera on the road, and I would do my shows, sometimes 2 shows. And then I'd go back to the hotel room, and I'd be like, all right, let's talk about exposure. All right, let's talk about ISO. All right, let's see. And then, sometimes on the road, I'd get a self-tape from my agents.
Yeah.
And so by the time I finished tour, I had a degree in filmmaking. I was like, I got to put this to use, because I there's a part of me that's like, I love acting. But I don't always want to be the employee. I want to be the employer.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. That's so you're using acting more as a learning experience and a means to an end. You got an end game.
Dude, I love it all, man. When we shot it, I like to collaborate. So I co-directed the proof of concept, and then we went all into the editing bay. And to be able to talk about, let's use that cut here and then cut to the action on that camera. I just don't know how, as an actor on camera, you can, on stage, the stage is the actor's medium. So when I'm in front of the camera, I cannot help but think how it's going to look in the cut when I'm acting it. So, I'm always thinking about the second I walk on set, I just need to walk into the room or wherever the set is, and depending on what's blocking or what positions of what objects of, like on Fear, there was a big boat, so I knew that, okay, they're only going to film on one side of me, and how do I, as an actor, make the director's job easy to cheat out, or the
right,
what and I'm spray painting, so I'm like, how the heck am I going to motivate acting to get to turn around, and how and so, like, because I'm always thinking, oh, the edit.
That part's really interesting, that your mind kind of goes to, you're looking at it from a different perspective than just from the acting side.
Oh yeah. I'm always, I don't know if a lot of actors listen to your thing, but I always recommend watching the monitors when second team's in. They'll for those who don't know that, so, like, you get with the other actor and the director's kind of watching you, and depending on what the director is or the scene, he'll either let you kind of play in the environment and be like, oh, that's good, and you'll kind of make it organically, or he's kind of got his shot figured out what he wants, and it's your job as the actor to sell it and make it look believable.
Right.
And so what I always do is, after we mark it up and second team will come in, I'm not going to go back to the vending machines. I'm going to go watch, okay, just to double check, look at the monitors and be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought it would look like. Okay, they might pull focus there, or they're gonna, that's a good place to cut. And so I'm choreographing where I'm looking and how I'm speaking.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's cool.
A good idea.
Yeah, it's like the cards you make. You know what I'm saying? You start thinking ahead. Oh, I can use that picture. The layout will look like this. You start thinking fast. It's like when you drive a manual shift.
Yeah.
After a while, you just don't even think about it.
That's right. I'm trying to. I won't say relearn. I used to drive stick back when I was growing up, but I hadn't had one in 25 years, and we got a truck that's that's stick, and I'm trying to relearn it a little bit.
Oh yeah, the clutch will teach you.
Oh yeah.
Starts talking to
you. Yeah, a couple of those, and you
especially on the hill. Yeah, get on the hill and try that. See what happens.
Oh, I know.
I learned stick in San Francisco, man.
That's a good place.
When they cut steps into the sidewalk, you're steep.
Yeah.
I bet you learn. You'd have to learn it quick in San Francisco.
Say what?
You'd have to learn it quick in San Francisco.
Well, bro, the hills are so steep. When you hit a red light, you gotta pull an e-brake and just hope, because you're gonna slide back before first gear kicks in, and everybody kind of knows, like, hey, we're on the hill. Give them a little.
Give them a little space. They're coming back.
Or like you rev first gear and you put the you put the e-brake down, and you kind of ride them both to get it going up the hill.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how did you come to the role in Fear of the Walking Dead? So you were the cigarette man.
Cigarette man, yeah. So it was a crazy process. Like, the casting director, they're just awesome, and they had been bringing me in for, I guess they enjoyed my tapes, and I auditioned for Fear. I auditioned for Walking, and I auditioned for their new one coming out, and I don't know if they've released all that, so I'm not gonna say the name or whatnot. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but man, it was like week after week, just sending tape.
Yeah.
And some were small, and I was like, oh man, and then it would turn into like a series regular, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And I crushed the tape, and my friends would come over, other actors. This is, right before pandemic broke out, and they were like, oh man, we there was one where it was like I can't say too much because I don't want to ruin anything, but there was like some bad stuff happening in a room, and
Yeah.
you know, how do you do that on tape? Anyway, so finally we got one that stuck, and
Persistence.
yeah, man. Again, you know, having the casting director be a fan of the work, you know, it's, when I'm up there giving my Oscar speech, I'll remember to give him a shout out and send him a bottle of Don P.
Hey, don't forget your podcast, you know.
Oh, you'll be right there.
That's right.
You'll be covering me, man. Live from the red carpet.
That's right. Oh shoot. Yeah, that's really awesome. So did you have to put on any type of makeup, any outfit? Or was it...
You know, it's always a very fine line. Like, I'll wear things that will be suggestive, but I'll never do it like right on the nose. Actually, what I end up doing most of the time is, because I'm a filmmaker, I'll actually manipulate the lighting to set the mood.
Yeah.
Also, and then when I dump it into the edit, you know, I'll do a little color grade on it. Yeah. And that, you know, instead of kind of let that do the acting for me.
Right.
And because a lot of these shows, you know, like, as I'm learning and doing, you know, Marvel stuff, is like, the world is already hyped up. You know, I think who does a really, really good job is like Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
She always plays it for keeps and lets the world kind of do the Marvel or the extraordinary. So it's just like another kind of day. And she's just a master, man.
I love that, how you're describing that, because I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, she kind of fits herself into the world, and lets the world expand on it a little bit. You know, kind of, that makes sense to me. With that. And so I'm guessing did you get to work with her some on Jessica Jones?
Oh, you know, no, I didn't, but I got I think she was on Daredevil and crossed over, maybe.
Yeah, she crossed over. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that would have been, talk about starstruck. I'd have been like, all right, play it cool. You know,
I'm with you. And now she's playing, you know, now she's on The Mandalorian and getting her own show in the Star Wars.
She deserves it, man. She is like an American treasure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No argument here.
She was in Kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just crushed it.
Yeah.
Man, anyways, like, how does she not? I mean, I can't wait for her to be like the next blow up, you know, like A-list, because she's a terrific actress, and she's nerdy, which is, you know, that's a big thing with me. I like the nerdy. You know, she likes the comic book. Yeah. Man, but I did get to work with Ritter, and she was really cool. You know,
watching her she's work. Talented too.
Yeah, man. She's just like an actor's actor, and you know, she had a great team, and you know, the director and her were really in sync, and you know, she's carrying a show, man. Like, and like, not like, oh yeah, it's some show. It's like, it was one of the first Marvel Netflix shows.
Right.
You know,
yeah, no pressure.
And she crushed it in Breaking Bad.
Oh man, she was awesome in Breaking Bad.
Jesus, man. So to be able to have like a scene with her was really cool. I had like green screen my legs, and I like acted on the floor. And you know, watching some of the playback, I was like, I learned a lot about my eye line, and and I was a little disappointed with how I used my eye line, but you know, you live, you learn. You know, you try something out, and
so do you watch yourself? You know, do you go back and watch it and try to learn from it?
Oh hell yeah! I mean, you know, acting on cameras, it came from pictures. You know, right. So if you were a model, that's like saying to a model, do you look at your pictures? How could they not? You know, how could you not learn what my face does? you know,
Right.
how light plays on my particular face, where my eyebrows sit, how my eyes look when I squint, why it is I get cast the way I get cast, or
Right.
it's just like, why would I not learn the cage that is the frame of the like, you know, I'm gonna forget his name. Fast Times at Richmond High, Sean Penn.
Oh, Sean Penn. Yeah.
Sean Penn talks about the cage. You know, the frame is the cage, but without the cage, there's no freedom. So you learn what the cage is, and then you learn what your face does in the cage, and then
I love that. I always argue with Brett. Go ahead,
That
Mark.
that makes perfect sense to me, because you always hear actors are like, I don't go back and watch. I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
Honestly,
go back and watch.
I think it's self-hate. Honestly, I think it's you don't like the way you look. You know, we all want to look a certain way, and then, you know, you got to move past that. And then there's also like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mess with the magic, but
it's difficult. I think it's difficult because you don't want to demotivate yourself. And I think there's a fear with a lot of people that they're going to watch and dislike it so much that it'll kind of demotivate, you know, they'll lose confidence.
Yeah, but yeah, that will happen. I guarantee it. And that's like, that to me is like, I call that the valley of death. And you got to go through the valley of death. And, you know, it's like when people who start things like careers and quit, they get really excited and, you know, oh my God, I can do this. Okay, this is a little bit hard. And then it gets really hard. And then that's called the valley of death. And that is like, if it was a circle, it would be 3/4 of the circle. And then you get through the valley of death and you learn everything the valley is there to teach you. And then after that, it's like, okay, I'm okay at this. Actually, I'm good at this. Actually, I'm really freaking good at this.
Right.
And I think most people quit in the valley of death and they start something new and repeat the process over and over and over.
I love that. Yeah, I argue with Brett a lot because with this podcast, I always watch or at least listen because I'm trying to, find, where I talk over someone, or if I'm, whatever it is, I'm making a dumb face or whatever it is, I'm trying to learn from it. And he doesn't want any part of that. He will not watch or listen. He's like, no, I got it. I got it, Dad. It's the, what is it? The bravado of youth. He's just like, I don't need it. How can I improve on this?
There are two schools, man. There's that school, and then there's, the technician school. But I think, Jean-Luc Picard is that school. Tom Cruise is the technician school, Rambo. Sylvester Stallone, he is the technician school.
That's awesome. I got a good Sean Penn story for you. So I got a buddy that he's an actor, and his dad though was kind of a famous Hollywood agent, and he repped Robert De Niro. So when they were growing up, Sean Penn grew up in the neighborhood, with my friend, but he was a little bit older. But when he found out that, his dad was repping De Niro, he would just start showing up at the house, hoping to catch De Niro at the house. So he was always making excuses for needing to come to the house. And they weren't really friends, because there was a gap in age, but he was making up reasons to come to the house to try to catch De Niro. I don't know if he ever caught him there or not, but that story amused me.
What would you say? Like, oh, hey, what's up? You don't know me, but I know you. You know what I mean?
That's what I asked him. What's he's like, he'd show up, wanting to know if he could help me with my homework and just all kinds of stuff.
Came over for a cup of sugar,
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. But is De Niro here?
Hey, what's up? I brought a beer.
I got a kick out of that because you don't think of Sean Penn being a teenage kid trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. did I see you in a show? I don't know if this is, I may be remembering this wrong, but there was a show called Master of None. Did you happen to have it? Were you on that?
Yeah, I had a little part on that. Yeah.
Because that show was great.
Yeah, man. I was on Aziz Ansari and his writing partner both wrote that show, and I was in I think his writing partner's directorial debut, and they hired these cool cats who I think were like their first acting thing, and they were like the stars of that episode, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy shnikey, you guys lucked out, man. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that was one of those lucky serendipitous things. So I'm always like, the casting directors are, the unsung heroes of the acting world.
Right.
They are the connective tissue that really keeps it all together. And I had just reached out to one of the casting directors. Hey, thanks so much for having me on a show. And they asked, hey, will you read this right quick? And I was like, yeah, sure. And it was, and then I booked it, and it was a really fast turnaround. And, that show, so depending on what type of show you're on, they either use a lot of makeup or like no makeup.
Right.
And this was like, no, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'll leave your hair. No, we're not going to cut your hair. And I was like, dude, I'm just straight off the street here, man. Are you sure? Yeah. He's like a skeezy nightclub promoter kind of guy.
Yeah.
And but damn, it was freezing cold right by the Hudson in a windy night, and all these party goers. The guy would be like, all right, guys, it's they don't play live music, so you're like fake dancing, and these poor people, and they're on like a cool V-neck, or ladies are in dresses. Oh, I was just feeling for them. I was like, oh man, that's brutal. And I just, you come on, you do your thing, and you try and stay open to the camera, because these things are moving and happening really fast. And it was cool, man. It was cool. As he showed up right quick, and he's one of those cats that's like so charming, when they're turned down a little bit, when they can talk to people. But man, what a beast, man. He was just like helping direct. I imagine he was like writing the next show, and he's like checking out the entire production. He was like, that story of like when Michael Bay is, the camera guy can't get it right, so Michael Bay comes over, and then he's like, oh no, and he's on a phone call, and he's like, no, telling the actor, move over this way, and that's what Aziz was doing. And I was just like,
yeah, that's awesome.
All right, time to level up my game. And that's when I started writing. I was like, man, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was such a great show, and it. I don't think it ended. He just kind of moved to other stuff, but it had a couple seasons.
Really cool. Dude, he pulled a Seinfeld. He was like, I'm quitting at the top.
Yeah. I mean, it was really well done. Is it harder when it's like a quick turnaround, or, is that easier on the nerves, or is it tougher?
No, that's the hardest.
Yeah.
Because they expect you, you only get a couple times to get it right, and you're not the center of focus. And the directors, they've got a lot on their plate. They're thinking about the edit. They've got people like, we need to move. We're over time, so they need you need to do them right, and the casting directors right, and just come in and deliver. And there's not much rehearsal.
Yeah.
But when you get some of the bigger parts, and you can talk about it, they're a little more lenient. They want to try some stuff, but
have you ever been on set with somebody that just really struggled to get it, or whatever? That's got to be brutal.
It's brutal. I just feel for them. It's like the actor's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Some people handle it. I've been with some pretty big names, and some throw their weight around. Some are just they start collaborating. The other actors kind of get involved and trying to help them out. And I was on set this one time, and this lady could not get her lines, and And for whatever reason, the director was just like, I'm not going to do anything. It was just take after brutal take. And that person was just like, I couldn't get it and couldn't get it. And at that point, I was like, dude, write it, like turn the camera around and just write it on the card for her or them.
Yeah.
I should say. Them. And I don't even think they ever got it. And he was like, whatever, we'll fix it later. And I was like, whoa.
Oh my
But
gosh.
to just
That's painful.
imagine giving like a PowerPoint presentation and the slides keep messing up and are out of order and in a different language.
Yeah.
That's what, and you have to just keep going. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I've been in those meetings. Those are brutal.
No doubt.
Oh my
Brutal.
gosh. Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah. I could not handle that. You've been on some really big shows. I mean, your list of things you've done is really impressive. I saw you were on this one show. It was on Showtime that I really liked called City on a Hill.
Oh man, Sarah Jessica Parker was like, she is such a hardcore savvy business person.
Yeah.
And proof that you don't have to be mean. She was so dope, man. She was like one of the first episodes, and she wanted to learn everyone's name because they're going to work together for a long time.
Yeah.
She made like name tags, and she was wearing a name tag, and she would address people, and
That's awesome.
And she would sit. Sometimes understandably, the bigger stars that they want to be left alone because they have people always kind of pulling at them, and so you don't really talk to them, and you say your hellos, and then you act with them, and then you go your separate ways, and it's kind of strange. But she was like, she sat with the other actors, and and anyone. She was very approachable, and she would talk, but I mean, make no mistake, she was the boss. She knew what was happening. She knew the framing. She knew what she wanted. She was working with the director, working with the writer, and I just hope one day I could be, it was something that I really, when we shot, that I was like, I'm going to do it like Sarah did, and just make everyone feel like they had a place and a right to say and do anything, and it was a respectful environment. She was just, oh gosh, she was so cool.
That's amazing because I'm assuming you've probably been around actors that are the opposite of that, which probably makes her being that way that much better.
Yeah, you hear horror stories, and and sometimes it's not the actors, it's the director or the assistant director. Understandably, the AD, ultimately it falls on him to get the shots we need and the time we need. And while everyone else is being creative, but I've been yeah. What do you do? You want to keep working, and so it's just like if you were a senator or a cabinet member or something, okay, that's not how I wanted it to go. I don't want to really be talked to. Now's not the time to address it. We'll get to that later, and take the hit on the ego and then deliver, and then thank everybody, be polite, and then you move on. But I've thankfully, because I'm scared shitless of not knowing my lines or failing horribly, that I just come really over prepared. Sometimes I'll shoot my scene at home. Like with Jessica Jones. I also read American Cinematographer, so I knew the cinematographer, and I was like, oh my god, I just read your issue of American Cinematographer, and so I really recommend that to actors who are, a lot of the times, the hard part about learning lines is you learn them in a void. You learn them and you're like toilet perfect, and then when you get on set, there's all this new stimulus, and you just the brain starts to short. To it's like you're trained for another event, and so I always tell actors and myself, like, and every time I don't do it, it doesn't go great. But if you can, get a camera, run it with people on camera, walk through space, walk through 3D space. Oh, it's in a door frame, or I'm entering a door. Walk through the door. Have the camera there. Engage with someone you're talking the lines with, so that and then have them try and mess you up. Sometimes put a big pause in the line, or sometimes say the wrong line, and that way you have all the stimulus ready, so that it's like an Olympian athlete. Like they've jumped in that pool and swam those laps under all circumstances. So we're not doing
muscle memory.
It's muscle memory, because something will go wrong. And you want to be able to use it. Who was it? The guy from 30 Rock. What's his name?
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
He said he was doing a production of Streetcar Named Desire, and he said that he played the I'm forgetting the name, always on the spot. I never can remember names, but he was playing Stanley.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with this play?
Yeah.
He comes in, like, what the hell's it? You don't tell me what to do. It's very volatile. And to get to my point, though, someone, he would walk through a screen door, and what the hell, this, whatever the line was. And one night, someone had accidentally locked the door, screen door, and he starts knocking, and he waits to be let in. And he said, what was I doing? I should have used that. That's when I knew I wasn't being a great actor. I should have tore that door down and barged in and be like, who locked the door? My own house, whatever. And that's one of those things. Those things are either going to be kryptonite, or they're going to be the Superman son. You know what I mean? So choose Superman son.
I love the fact that you're just, it seems like you're always learning. Everything that you're doing, you're just soaking it up.
Acting is just like any other business. Like your cards or your podcast it's the same kind of business as tires or Jeff Bezos with Amazon.
Yeah.
If you don't love it, like it's gonna require you to work your ass off all the time, and it might not work out. So you have to love it. You have to love the journey, and sometimes you succeed. And those are like awesome days, but you have to just love everything. And acting is that for me. And I found that in a serendipitous way. I think about it all the time. I think I read other art form books just to improve my acting. Like I read this book
that's
on my bookshelf over here, but I was like, I didn't know. I came from the stage, and the stage is closer to dance. It's your full body that you use.
Right.
And I was like, I never have to just use my expression. So I bought this book called Atlas of Expressions. And in that book, he was a molder, and he talks about how different eye movements suggest different things, and how during death, people always go like the tongue, then it refers to different paintings and how the tongue would come out. And I thought, oh, that's so great. And you start thinking, well, what if I was playing something on like a True Detective, and you're playing like a villain? You just kind of do one of those,
creepy.
So creepy, right? Or like horror, true horror, who does that really great in I'm gonna forget it, where the girl, she would go like this.
Mark, you're the horror guy.
She would make figurines, and the daughter's head ends up getting cut off. Anyways, horror on camera is like Greek tragedy, and the way I could get into that was like, oh, you just have to do the physical. Greek tragedy, they would use masks, so you just have to do the physical embodiment of horror. And one of the physical embodiments, to go back to the face, was you have to show all the whites of your pupil. I don't have to feel anything. I just, and those things start to emerge because we have a visceral connectivity as a species, that we understand that. And that,
I love that
stuff. Just, I dork out on it, man.
That's really, I love that. That's so, I love the,
or like the angles of your face. Like I have, if I put, when the camera's flat, if I just put my chin down, I create that angularity, and we don't like angular. We don't trust it. Square, we trust. Circle,
Yeah,
is
you
like
start getting
us.
suspicious when you get that
Exactly.
angular look.
So when I know the camera's there and I don't want, I just, I give angles. I don't have to feel anything.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just
No, that's great. Do you have a favorite role that you've been in?
On stage or camera?
Either one.
I loved playing Tom in Glass Menagerie at Tennessee.
Yeah.
His sister has,
which
like,
is a great
him.
play.
Oh, man. That was just there's a great stage director, Tim Bond. He's the artistic director of Palo Alto Theater Works, and he wanted to do this thing where I'm Latino, and he was like, I want to do something. He's an African American director, and he wanted to do something because he felt like it was very Latino and the family could be mixed, and just getting the rhythms. William writes in like waves. The way his writing works, it's like music. It's like close to August Wilson, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah.
You just got to get on the train, and it's like jazz. You ride the train, but I know this is but on film, I really liked playing. I know Fear. I like this guy. I was really bummed that he met the fate that he did, but I could do that all day.
We were really bummed. We wanted to see more of you on there.
Oh man, just to be in that world and not give a crap. Like, he humbles his car into somebody else. It's like, fuck it, let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Like, oh man, I'm down. I'm down to live in a world where there are no law, or like, I'm gonna kill you now.
Yeah, I think they based that guy on Mark, if I remember right.
That's probably was it.
Yeah, I think that was your character.
Yeah.
They had to cast somebody for it because it was too real.
Yeah,
it took a while to find the right person too.
They would ask me like, dude, how do you feel about drawing? Would you make the character draw something in the scene? And I was like, oh yeah, like a card or something. Like, no, fuck with you, man.
You can draw conclusions. What about that?
I draw conclusions.
Oh shoot! Well, Joseph, this has been a blast.
Thank you, man.
This has been great. So before I let you go, though, is there anything that you've been? I know it's been a rough year, but anything that you've been working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for you?
I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think I can say this. I have another. I don't know if
it's
I can
tricky.
say it.
Yeah, it's tricky for you guys.
Yeah, it hasn't been released. I booked a movie and I just did another episode of something, but I don't know if I don't think their media company has.
Yeah, that means you have to come back.
Oh shit! I would love to, man. But let me put you in contact with some people, man. Like,
I'd love that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of like, what I also loved is a cigarette man, but I don't smoke. But my mom was a heavy smoker, so I was
really?
like, I'm not going to learn that on set. So so I went and bought a pack of cigarettes, and I learned how to smoke. And the coolest thing about smoking is like, you light up in public, you start walking. People love to watch you. People would just watch me. I'd light up and they would just watch me smoke. And I was like, what the hell is
Well, there's some appeal to that, which is why a lot of people end up getting hooked on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's disgusting though, man. It's so gross. I would feel sick, and like I was like, I gotta keep going. I eventually started switching to herbs because my clothes just started stinking. But I never got checked out more in my life by women. I think I was like, oh, I could definitely see the appeal.
Wow, that's where I went wrong.
And I also feel like that was that dude, like he would.
Well, you're a bad
love
boy.
I would love to play like a Hannibal Lecter kind of killer. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, that would be so much fun.
Well, if you do, you need a serial killer that does the tongue thing. As just a.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, I've got tricks up my sleeves. I've got cards of my sleeves. That was one of the lines in the Class Manager. I've got cards of my sleeves.
That's right. Yeah,
Anyways,
that's
guys,
awesome.
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, that's been great, Joseph. Where can we find you on social media?
Joseph Castillo-Midyett, just my name, and you can reach me and send me an email. That's my website. Also, my name, Joseph Castillo-Midyett, on TikTok, or J Castillo-Midyett on Instagram. I'm down to talk with anyone, help them out. Right now I'm doing a series on like how to audition on self-tape, because a lot of actors are
Yeah, I
like,
watched some of that. That's really interesting.
yeah, it's pretty fun. But again, all of that was like trial and error, just curiosity.
Really impressed that you're on TikTok too. That's I haven't cracked that code yet.
Oh, bro, I wish I was on it sooner, man. But whatever. But yeah, you can catch me there, or you can reach out to my manager, David Brenner, Creative Talent.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before I got one more now that you brought up David.
Yeah.
How did you find David, or did he find you?
Oh, bro, every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Nah, man, I so before everything broke out with COVID, I was on hold for a rock movie. I was on hold for Ryan Reynolds movie. I was on hold for like a couple. I was filming two different TV shows. I got really far with in the audition process with Macbeth, the Denzel Washington Macbeth.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and things weren't working out with part of my team because I was like, dude, I'm getting all this stuff, let's try and capitalize off of it. And nothing came. And so I was like, man, if during the height of this, before the pandemic, and I'm on all these things, I can't even make some action happen. Imagine what would happen if it was bad times, which I didn't know that's what was going to happen.
Right.
And so I reached out to Dave, and at the first time he said no. And I was like, I really dug him. It was like,
come on, Dave.
Yeah, man, it was rough. And I was like, he was like a dude, and I don't really get that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
He was just like normal, down to earth, kind of chill dude. I'm just kind of jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. And I got that vibe from him. And so I just looked him up on the internet and reached out to him. And he, I told him what I was up to, and we took a meeting, and he said no. And I just kept booking. And then I was like, yo, dude, well, we should work together, homie. We should do this. And he was like, all right, come in. And then it was a hard conversation, because then I had to be like, so why'd you say no the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
And we had a no bullshit kind of conversation, and I was like, all right, that's fair. And it's just been like butter since then.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm always curious about those relationships.
Oh, dude, like I tell all actors, like acting is just like any other business, except you are the commodity.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos goes out and he takes meetings and meets people and talks to people all day long. Right. If you're not doing that and just pretending like it's going to come to you, it will never come. Dude, I started doing acting, and when I got to New York, I had $25, nowhere to live. I got off a Greyhound bus and a suitcase from like 1968. There was no like, oh, I'm going to drag it behind me. It was like, no, I had to hold it. And dude, I couldn't tell you the difference between a casting director and an agent at the time.
Yeah.
And if I had listened and been polite about stuff, I would have never made it. So
yeah. What would you be doing if you weren't an actor?
I love animals, man. So it'd probably be something with animals. At one time I wanted to be a vet. So here's a crazy story. So I was, so we were very poor. We were like, like mayonnaise on a good day sandwich kind of poor. And so I was like, I was like 13, 12. And I was like, man, we need food. because I would go to school and I would steal food to get us through the weekend.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and I ended up ripping off some newspapers and selling them. I was like, here, I'll sell them half price. So I would like buy one. I'm aging myself, but like, you buy whatever, the $1, $2.50, whatever it was back then, take the whole stack and then just go stand in front of the store, and I would hustle. And I was like, oh, and I was like, I'm going to be a veterinarian. I like dogs. And I was reading one of the papers, and it was at the same time, well, whatever, keep it simple. And I read something about Brad Pitt, and I was like, man, what's this guy got that I ain't got? $30 million a picture? That's crazy. What would I do with that kind of money? And that was, I forgot the question. I just like,
no more vet for you.
Yeah, it was no more vet after that. I was like, yeah, let me try and do this. If only I had known. Ravishing good looks is something he has over me.
He got that over most of us. Well, maybe not Mark. Maybe not Mark.
He didn't
So
quite
what do
make
you
it
think?
that far.
What do you think, Mark? You gonna make a card for this guy or not?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, right on.
Yeah, you fit right on.
And and the cool thing, like some of the actors I have too, it's not just Walking Dead. They have they'll do different things, and I'll do different character cards because they'll end up with their own collection of 2, 3, 4 cards or whatever, and it just ends up, it's pretty cool. They just kind of have their own thing going on. So
yeah, man, if I can bring more, first of all, it would serve me in my, that's really cool. But if anything I can do to drive awareness towards your art, I'm all down for it, man.
And that, and I appreciate that, obviously. But that's the reason I started mocking up the cards, because I was like, man, I got to know these people, and these are good people, and they work their asses off.
That's right.
And I go to the store to, and you look at the cards that are sold, and I'm like, well, obviously we got Rick and we got Daryl, and but I'm like, who are these people back here?
Yeah.
Because if you got, it started with the Saviors, and I know a lot of those guys. If Negan was rolling with like 2 dudes and nobody else, everybody else would be like, yeah, you're not a threat.
Right.
But the fact that this guy has all of these people, and everybody works hard for that, and these guys will go work hard, and they'll be like, oh man, I was filming and we were up late, and we filmed all night long, and it was cold, and I was starving to death, and they cut my scene. I'm like, I'm like, man.
When we were filming the fight scene, it started kind of like drizzling, and it's a real physical fight scene. We had that scene, and the main actor, he was downtown to play, man, and we were soaked to the bone by the time we finished filming that thing. And he slipped and his knee kind of bothered him, and I was like, oh man, did I do that? And he was like, no. And so we kind of modified the scene to make just stuff happens. We're on real concrete, and we're doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And Morgan was just another gentleman, man, just a professional or actor's actor. We jived it up in the 10, and he was telling me about his history, and I was like, dude, pass some knowledge. And he was just like, yeah, man, I think I asked him like 30. I was like, oh, I should have had a microphone. I was like podcasting him, and he was like, oh man, it's like on a podcast. But yeah, Morgan's been in a lot of stuff. He's had a crazy career.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he has.
Yeah,
he's done a ton, and he's good in all of it.
All of it, man, all of it. And he was just such a nice, no ego kind of dude. And the more and more I'm around it, I'm like, I think that's the majority. And then a couple of bad apples give everyone a bad rap. But
well, you're gonna have some divas.
Yeah, when they start bringing you food and asking what you want for lunch and dinner, and you get people carrying your stuff for you, that's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Was it Ian McKellen or John Gielgud? you know, he was filming something.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was John Gielgud and older actor, basically Ian McKellen. And he was like, no, I don't need all that. I just put me up in a regular 1-bedroom apartment. I'm fine. You know, just come to crush it.
That's amazing.
But
Yeah.
it's not about all that, man. It's about playing. It's about getting in the camera. It's about pushing yourself, you know, like trying to get that best lap in the pool. Like, I was in the zone, man. And I was able to do that with Morgan. And you know, he said,
that's a great feeling.
He said to me, he was like, man, it's really nice when someone comes and takes it to the next level. Thank you. And I was like, oh man, pleasure was all mine.
Well, yeah, and that probably made your day.
It's a nice confirmation that you're doing something right. And then you know, today's compliment is tomorrow's ego trip, and you take it, you throw it in the trash, because that's what it's not about. It's not about that. It's about the acting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Joseph, thank you so much. This is
thank you guys.
A real pleasure. Enjoyed this a lot. Mark, you were okay too.
You know, I mean, I realized I was a staple in the entire conversation, but it's
you're just here for eye candy, buddy.
That's right.
You guys, Mark, you remind me of a famous Irish actor. What's his name? He was in, the only thing I can think of is he was in the McDonough film adaptation in Bruges.
Oh.
Now I gotta know what it is. I gotta watch it now. Oh, he was Harry Potter, Mag Dog, I think his name is, where the eye moves.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Dude, that dude is a phenomenal actor. Oh my God.
Shoot, it'll come to it once we're done. It'll pop right in my head. But yeah, he's amazing. He's a great actor. A slimmer version of him. Yeah. You have the energy of him, like just kind of. Can see it. I can see it. Sit in the corner. Wasn't Rupert, was it? Huh? Not Rupert, was it? Oh, man. That doesn't sound Irish to me. That must not be the right name. You gonna look it up? Yeah, I can look it up. See, if we were a big enough show, we'd have somebody to do that. I just look at it right now. We're just Harry Potter. We must know before we end the show. We must know. Oh man, who does Mark look like? A skinnier version. Yeah, I gotta know now. Give me a second. The first time somebody said those words to you. Are you serious? Yeah, that's skinnier version. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Skinnier version of anything. What is his name? I love that movie too. I can't believe it's not dawning on me. Hold on 1 second. Keep the listeners. Yeah. Oh, they're in Bruges. Here it comes. I'm kind of excited. Brendan Gleeson. Yeah. Who is it? Brendan Gleeson. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Come on, dude. Look, I'm looking at this like, if I didn't know better, I'd be like, you are him. You, man. Man, that's pretty awesome. Mark, you need to lean into that. I love those guys too, honestly. Yeah, you need to lean into that, man. Make like cosplay or something. You could be a stand-in or something. Well, you see what I did here, right? I put myself on my own card. Yeah, I'm impressed with that. The live version. I know, man. I got shoes and a tripod in my background. I used to have a pillow behind me, so I've learned. Yeah, I was doing it in the bedroom, so I've improved since then. I told you we were rough when we first started. Dude, I love that everyone in your picture has. Yeah, they're yelling con. Oh, I see. That's the gimmick. Even Jaws back there. Yeah, they're all yelling. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. This has been just a blast, and we definitely, Joseph, you have to come back. You know, whenever you got something getting ready to go, just holler. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'll take it. Very insightful. That was interesting. That was, yeah. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay, hold on just a second, guys. So Joseph was the bomb. He was awesome. Man, he was like so much more than I was expecting. Yeah, he was very insightful we said this off camera just a minute ago, but he's going to hit big. I mean, he's talented, but I got a feeling it's going to be his own stuff that really takes off. I mean,
I know, like everything he's been in, and then he's talking about his story, and I'm like, that is.
And he's
really
been in. I didn't even ask him specifics, but he's been on Queen of the South, The Resident, New Amsterdam, FBI, The Path, MacGyver. You know, he's been in a Homeland, The Following. He's been in a ton of stuff. You know, good stuff. But yeah. I think it's going to be his own stuff that actually he ends up being known for.
Well, you know, he's a very charismatic dude. I mean, he's, you know, he's on top of it, and he's just, you know, I think his own stuff. I think it'll be a hit.
It'll be really good. Yeah, you have to make him a card, man. He
definitely.
That's a connection you must have.
I tell you, I mean, I've had, like I said, I've had producers and writers, and I mean, I've got all kinds of different. You know, it's more than actors, and when you get a guy like him that does a lot more stuff, you know, I mean, there could be more value in it for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And a shout out to my good friend Will Hancock, who brought Joseph to our attention. Good job, Will. You did good. Did you hear the story? I can't remember. Did he tell the story of why he did the show? I can't remember if he told that on camera or not. I'm guessing he didn't, if you don't remember. So he was in Louisville, just doing some shopping, like yard sale type shopping. And Will had a pull-up bar for sale. And Joseph was going to buy that for him for $10. And he said, well, you know, how about, you know, instead of paying me $10, you just do my friend's podcast. So Joseph paid the $10 and still did the podcast.
Man,
how about that? That's all right.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good story. So Mark, before we wrap it up, give everybody the website and where they can find these terrific cards.
It's at www.thedeadcards.com. Been, you know, it's been a work in progress, but I've been staying on top of that. So most of the current stuff is on my website, and to be on Facebook at the Dead Cards, and also Instagram. I don't really do a lot with Twitter, but it's not enough hours in the day, man.
But now you're gonna start doing TikTok. I just heard that.
Apparently I'm gonna have to, and I'm sitting there looking at TikTok. I'm like, these people are all doing interesting stuff. I don't do anything interesting I don't think anybody want to watch.
I think all you got to do is put your card up and dance a little bit. I think that's TikTok. From what I can.
That'll be it.
Together. Yeah, that's all you got to do. No, you need to put, like, there's a lot of effects on TikTok. You could probably put some stuff on there and do some time lapse where you show how you make a card or something like that. I don't know. You're creative. You'll figure it out.
I hope so.
All right. Well, thank everybody for watching, for listening. We really appreciate that. You can check out all of our episodes on meistercon.com or on Facebook under MeisterCon. So until next time, bye, Mark. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.